A good day, everyone. I am Mark, your fat friend,
I'm Tyrus, your black friend,
and this is the Fat and Black Connection.
where we talk about anything and everything as long as it's interesting to us.
Absolutely. And, as we like to do on this show, we like to have a lot of.
Uh-uh. Uh,
Oh,
uh.
Hey,
oh,
how you
well,
doing?
hey, James. Um,
Disrespectful. That's you.
uh,
I'm okay with you. You okay. That wasn't your fault. That's all
uh
your fault.
how
Hey,
does.
man, just to put it this way, Mark, if you're fat, and James, if you're black, I'm fat and black.
Oh.
See, yeah, so, you can understand how I made this mistake. Oh, okay, Tyrus, we'll bring you
See
back.
you in a bit.
Oh,
Come
oh,
on, man.
man.
Come on,
Um,
man.
I, I let's just move on. So,
Yeah, let's do that.
so, I've got a peanut butter milk stout by Belching Beaver,
Belching Beaver. Now
Belching Beaver Brewery. Say
is
that three
that
times fast.
available? Is that available at like what do you guys have up there? Total Wine or
I got this at Costco.
Lee's? Oh.
Interesting. So it's very light. It's it's very good. There's a
Peanut
very
butter. You said peanut butter milk stout, right?
it's a peanut butter milk stout. Yeah.
Is there milk in it?
No, man. It's a dark beer. It's a stout. I mean, there might be milk. Let's see. Okay. Ingredients: water, malt, hops, yeast, and natural flavors. So no, I don't think there's milk in here.
Oh, cool.
And there's just a very subtle hint of the peanut butter. So it's not overwhelming. Yeah, it's pretty good. So this is over at Costco, Belching Beaver Brewery, peanut butter milk stout.
The problem with that is you'll like it might be up in your Costco, but it might not be like down here where I.
Yeah,
That's
it's
the only
always a
problem.
possibility, but
If
it is here in northern Nevada. So
if I do run across it, I'll have to maybe grab a case.
yeah, and I would believe since I found this in a Costco, you could probably find this in a Bevmo or
Bevmo or
Total
something.
Wine or
Yeah.
So
You know what we
yeah.
need to start. You know what we need to start doing is when we for the beers and stuff, maybe have like a start a list or something, just so if people want to find the beers that we're drinking or whatever, they can at least look them up.
Yeah, well, the other thing we could do is throw it out to the audience to let us know what they think we should try, and then we can look for it. That could
That'd
be
be
fun
dope too. Yeah.
So obviously, this is the Fat and Black Connection, where we talk about anything and everything as long as it's interesting to us.
Of course.
And going along with that this is a live and interactive broadcast. We are everywhere you could imagine to find us: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Daily
LinkedIn.
Motion. yes, we are all over the place. So please, if you aren't already, give us a like, follow, whatever. Even if you don't like the show, because why not? What's the worst that's going to happen? You're going to get a notification once in a while.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, how often do you pay attention to those anyways for the other pages you follow? Similarly, we're for a podcast. Speaking of which, I guess I should put this up there. Ba-boom.
Yes. Good morning, Christine.
Little QR code action up there if you are interested in just listening to us and not having to look at us, which I totally understand.
Totally.
You can scan that QR code to get to our Anchor podcast page, and from there you can choose whatever format you prefer: Apple, Google, Breaker. There's so many podcast platforms, and we're on. If we're not on one, let me know. I'll make it happen.
We'll get on there.
Yes. So, James, it's been another week. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I've, I had a couple days that was weird cuz I started getting back into the gym. So me and my brother have been going in the mornings. We were supposed to go this morning, but we both overslept, so that's not a big deal. But no, so I've been actually feeling pretty energized and stuff like that. So that's good.
Good. Yeah, not a whole lot on my end. I had a busy weekend. there were, as we announced on the last episode, there were auditions for an upcoming radio show podcast called Murphy's Inc., which is it's going to be an interesting show. I think it's a time traveling heist series. Um, so there were auditions for that this weekend, and I actually was brought on to the production staff in the executive producer role. So I am getting pretty heavily involved with that show, and we had 2 days of auditions. We went from 5 o'clock to 9 o'clock both Saturday, Sunday night.
That is it's a long stretch.
Well, and that was just for auditions. I mean, we were on before and after, talking about everything, and
Oh,
so
okay.
it was good, man. We had a lot of good, talented people come out. There was this one guy though. I couldn't stand him. He went by like Devereaux or something.
Yeah, I heard of that dude. I mean, I heard he's okay to work with, but he can be temperamental.
Yeah, and he really just had one look. Every role that he read for, he kind of was just flat, and yeah, so
Yeah, well, I think I know that guy. I make sure I talk with him.
yeah, so please do. Anyways, since our last meeting, if you will, I went back and I re-listened to last week's episode, and boy, were we fanboying about Book of Boba Fett. I mean, because remember, it was the Mandalorian episode, right? And
Yeah,
I mean, it was amazing, right? And we got lost in it, and we forgot this is actually Book of Boba Fett until like the last couple minutes of the episode.
right.
It was great. It was a really good episode, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And the thing that I said at the top of that segment was, how do you make this show any better?
Oh, I know. Do
Yeah.
last week's episode.
Except now, let's bring in R2D2 to start.
Let's bring back Ahsoka. Tano.
Ahsoka.
Let's
What?
bring back Luke.
What?
Let's bring back Grogu.
Grogu. I mean, it felt like from the very beginning of that episode when we had the callback to being out in the desert, and it felt very westerny, and from that first couple moments of the episode you could tell this was going to be a good one, and then to go to the planet and see R2 and everyone there was just like, and oh my god, they really they figured it out with Luke's face, because the Mandalorian season 1 finale, bringing in Luke was fantastic, but it didn't look great. And one of the things that Lucasfilm actually did, and I don't know if you heard about this, is they went and they hired the deep fake guys, the guys that had been making the videos, like taking Back to the Future footage and putting Robert Downey Jr. on Doc and Tom Holland on Marty, and they look amazing. And they went and they hired these guys to get them to work on stuff for them, and damn, I couldn't tell you that was CGI. It looked so good.
No, that looked real good. Like I didn't even really notice like what you're talking about with at the end of the Mandalorian. It did look a little wonky, but at the same time, I was like, I ain't worried about it. Truly, I was just like, no, Luke, I'm in. But yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I think that looked super good.
Yeah. So for those of you that were here at the top of the show, you might have noticed that we had a friend here, and that was Tyrus. He's a blast from the past. So for those of you that don't know him, Tyrus and the two of us go way back to Ohlone College days back in the early 2000s.
Yeah, these dudes got me into a dance class and then bailed.
Sorry?
No, it's all good. I just remembered that.
But we've known this guy for a long time. I mean, it's been a long time since we've done anything with him. But we're going to bring him in here in just a minute, because he is a fanboy just as big as us when it comes to a lot of the stuff we talk about, but specifically Book of Boba Fett. So I want to bring him in. He is what they call a prognosticator. You could also call him the Nostradamus of movie, TV, and general sci-fi comic book concepts. He has made predictions long in advance of things that will happen, such as he predicted that Rey was going to be a descendant of Palpatine
I don't.
years before the spoilers even came out that was true.
I need to ask him about that, because that I just don't. I don't know.
Yeah, so we're going to bring him in here in just a minute. Let's run through some of these comments really quick. Good morning, Chris. Tyrus already said good morning. We've got our Dam checking in, Mr. Brian Hobbs. Welcome to the show. R2 rocks, absolutely.
Yes,
Tyrus calling out that Mark Hamill didn't voice Luke. I thought he did.
Well, that's what.
But I guess
maybe it didn't, because I know in the credits it said Mark Hamill, so I don't know.
Yeah, so we'll bring Tyrus in a second and see what he means there, and then Brian. I don't know if I've said it before, but remember, Boba Fett was always supposed to be like a Mando season 2.5. Well, I guess we'll see. Let's bring in Tyrus, and hi there. How are you?
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's going on, brother?
Oh man, I am beat.
Yeah,
That's that bus driver life, but it's all good.
Hey.
Yeah, we're gonna bring you on at some point in the future. One of the things that I think I want to do and want to create, based on some of the stuff we've done in the past, James, is I think we need to do an adult career day segment where we bring people on with interesting or unique jobs and have them talk about them. And we've done that before, right? Like a game designer or a music orchestrator that worked on Disney Plus.
Speaker. Yeah.
Motivational speaker. Yeah. So I think bringing on a bus driver could be absolutely interesting because, I think there are aspects of the job that we have no idea about.
Yeah. No, that's
It's kind of ridiculously different than driving the car.
Yeah.
So Tyrus, you are a prognosticator of movies and television, and please share with us, do these things come to you in your dreams? Do you have like day visions as you're driving your bus and you see like do you see a billboard for a movie and then all of a sudden
right. That's exactly it, dude. I'm telling you, you're right.
So, I mean, really, like, how do these things come to you? Like,
half the stuff that goes on in my head when I'm driving the bus, there are some days when you got people that are, talking to you so much and you're like, just shut up. You know what I mean? And then there are other days where, nobody's talking to you and like you're in your own world. That's when you start filling your head with stuff. And that's when you start thinking about the things that you've watched and you start just analyzing it and getting nitpicky and comparing things. And that's how I came across thinking, that Rey was a Palpatine.
Okay.
See, that's the whole thing, is that I just didn't realize that. I mean, I should have figured that he had, descendants of some sort, but that was something that never really crossed my mind.
Well, there was a couple things in Force Awakens that helped though. If you watched her fighting style, when she never picked up a lightsaber before, but when the Force awakened in her and she picked up that lightsaber, she was fighting in Palpatine's style right then and there, like with the forward thrust. Go back and watch it a little. Watch what is it? It wasn't Phantom Menace. The first three prequels. So that was what? Phantom Menace. There was Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So Revenge of the Sith, I believe, is the one where Anakin betrayed everyone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So you'll see Palpatine finally don his lightsaber, and you'll see him with that same forward thrusting motion that Rey used when she first picked up her lightsaber.
So when he's fighting Yoda, or when
no, when he's fighting is
Mace
that when
Windu?
Mace Windu and the two other Jedi.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you'll notice that fighting style, and I was like, wow. And then you sit back and think, when Kylo Ren and her were about to go head to head, I'm like, who split the ground like that? Who has that kind of power like that? And it wasn't Snoke, because he wouldn't have went out like that so easily, if so. So I was just putting one and two together, and I'm like, okay, everyone thinks that she's Luke Skywalker's daughter. I'm like, no.
Nah.
And then I'm like, Leia would have recognized her. Everyone thinking that she is Obi-Wan Kenobi's daughter. I'm like, that
She
dude
would have been
was too old, man.
Yeah, she
Like,
would have been
no,
way
she's
older.
too young. Like,
Right.
we got to get down and nitty gritty. She's someone's granddaughter if there's going to be any importance or link to it. And so then I went through my head. I'm like, whose granddaughter could she be? And I was like, what better way to have a cover as Chancellor Palpatine, married, having a kid, suddenly turned Sith. Like, well, he didn't suddenly, he was always Sith, but revealed that he's Sith. And the family's like, oh no, you're evil. And they get out of Dodge.
And then when they have the daughter, bring her to me, and we're not doing that because we don't. Okay,
that's what went in my head, and that's what I said in my prediction when I was like on a layover. I was actually on the bus on a layover when I did that prediction, and then the week that the movie was coming out, I reiterated it. It's somewhere on my Facebook. You can find it. I reiterated that very moment, and then when I'm in the theater watching it, and when Emperor Palpatine says, "You're my granddaughter," I was like, "Yeah!"
I knew it.
So part of the reason that we brought Tyrus in today is because he has some predictions that he would like to make. But before we go into the predictions for the season finale or series finale, I'm not sure, of Book of Boba Fett, which will be tonight at midnight, West Coast. Before we go into that, there was something that happened in this episode that we haven't mentioned yet, and I think it's important that we do bring it up. And that would be
yes,
boy, Cad Bane.
Cad Bane. Oh, that's the man right there. Do not sleep
that
on him.
blew my mind. Like, honestly, like, how old is Cad Bane at this point? He has been around since the Clone Wars.
I mean, you got to think age is relative in space, right? Yoda was 800 plus years old,
so,
right? So it's hard to say
what's his species and then like how they age. But I mean, seeing Cad Bane like not in a computer animated form,
this is his first live action. Yeah,
this is in a live action role.
Mm-hmm. Bro. Yeah, I kind of felt the same way about this as I did when I heard they were bringing Hondo to Galaxy's Edge with the Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run ride.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Like I said, this whole episode, as I'm sitting there watching this thing progress, and I've already been spent, right? Between R2, Luke, Grogu, Ahsoka, between all of everything that happened up until this moment when we get Cad Bane, I'm already spent. I'm like, I'm done. Like, I don't need anything more. And then we see this figure walking through the desert, coming towards town. And I gotta say, I don't know if this was Favreau's intention or not, but this is building to be the good, the bad, and the ugly. I don't know. I don't know
this
how
is Dave Filoni all over it, bro.
Yes, So, needless to say,
him walking up, it was just like, is that that can't be him.
No
and
way.
then as soon as he raised that, I was like, oh,
yes.
So, going along with that, we now are going to kick it over to Tyrus with his prognostication for this next episode of Book of Boba Fett. Now, before, I want to preface, you do not know any spoilers. You have not done any advanced readings or anything like that. You don't have somebody that's involved with the show feeding you anything.
Okay. So also, is this this is the season finale or tonight?
It is,
As
from
far as we
everything
know.
I've heard, it's 7 episodes. So we've gotten 6. This is 7. So
All right. Tyrus.
I would be ecstatic if this next episode were at least an hour. That would be nice. Because I really don't feel that you can finish up a whole cartel line in one episode. There's too much. So just look for another season. And before I get into my prediction, I just want to say there's only one thing I did not like about Cad Bane. And the one thing I don't like about him is that it looks like he's gone through a 5-year regimen of Rodan and Field's facial cream. I just really, bro. Like, if all the things you could have done and gotten right, the one thing you got wrong was his skin, dude. Like, really, dude. It was smooth as a baby's bum. Like, I'm like, no, bro.
yeah, I would agree with you there. You would, and especially with the time that's passed, you would expect there to be some more wrinkles or something.
Scarring.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
Yeah, but other than that, no. Cad Bane is a bad dude, and I love the fact that Dave Filoni has been one of the showrunners is bringing in a lot of his Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels characters, and I just can't wait to see the rest. But on to my predictions, folks. Just remember, I'm wrong in a lot of my predictions. I think I got lucky on the Rey thing, but it was just too detailed that I got all correct. So yeah. Look, this Boba Fett, I kind of feel like it was is what you call filler in anime terms. It's one big story. That's why Mando came back. Then Din Djarin came back, and Ahsoka Tano came back. Luke Skywalker and Grogu came back. It's all one big storyline, is what I'm saying. I'm seeing, and these are all just different chapters. So of course, Ahsoka's going to get her own show where she's going to go after Thrawn, Admiral Thrawn. Now, I'm thinking all these collectives will come together, and all the heavy hitters from each show are going to come together, and they're going to try to save Ezra. That is my end of the line prediction right there.
Yes, I've been wondering about that because when he went missing,
yeah,
I figured they were going to go look for him, but then so cool. I'm glad you said that.
So you're with me there. Now on this situation, that random bartender that just had lines and said, "Oh, we're Freetown now." I kind of feel like he's gonna be the one to shoot over to Boba Fett's compound and be like, "Yo, we need help over here." Now they're trying to prep.
I said that same thing because I was like, he was the way he was looking, especially at the end of that episode, was like, "Yo,
we need to get over there and get help."
Right.
Yeah. So the way they set this up, with the Pikes blowing up the cantina as well, Boba Fett and his crew are already paper thin, and with Cad Bane taking over, essentially taking Freetown hostage, pretty much. And he has his own little squad with him too, so they ain't getting nowhere. They're going to be spread even more thin because Din Djarin is going to feel obligated to go back and help. And he can't take any other people there with him. So who's going to help Din Djarin? Who? You got two options here. Are there any Tuskens left over from when they were fighting that dragon in Mandalorian?
Presumably, there've got to be some still out there that did survive. I can't imagine they all got 100% wiped out. So
right.
I figured we'd see that.
There could be that, or there could be this. He has the Darksaber. Why was the armorer so happy that he decided to melt down an artifact, as in the Beskar spear? Because the Darksaber is a symbol of leadership. And if you were to watch Star Wars Rebels, when Sabine had the Darksaber and was training with it, she complained it was heavy, and it was explained to her that it's a complete opposite of a lightsaber that you can swing around. Whatever's in your head plays into your energy, which flows through the blade. So if you're uneasy about something, it's gonna work against you. Therefore, Mando has a whole bunch of stuff going against him right now. He can't let go of Grogu. One. Number two, he does not want to be the leader, but the armorer wants him to be the leader. That is his destiny. And of course, that is the way. So if you sit there and look at it, the armorer is she's clutch, bro. She's OP. They were running from a squad of stormtroopers where she took all 5 of them out with tools. Okay, she whooped them good. And then when she was training with Din Djarin on that space station, no effort whatsoever, and he flew off the platform. Mm-hmm. So she could have easily challenged him for that dark saber and taken it from him, but she did not. It's because he needs to redeem himself. And the only way of redeeming himself is gone, which was putting time in the minds of Mandalore. But you have a similarity going on right now. What happened on Mandalore? The Empire bled them of their resource, Beskar. What's going on now? The same thing is happening on Tatooine with spice. Mm-hmm. They're being bled of their resource. So at some point, Din Djarin's going to have to call everyone together and be like, hey, guys, we don't want this to happen again. If you come here and help me, put your armor back on. You hear me what I'm saying? Come put your armor back on and help me fight. There's his redemption. If he calls back all the exiled Mandalorians that survived in his show, for them to come help. That's one of my predictions. The other prediction is...
Hold on, let me guess. You're going to tell me that characters from Dune are going to show up.
No. the Mandalorians that dropped all their armor in the first season to get away from... they're not the Empire, but they are the Empire. After they had helped him get Grogu off planet when he went to go rescue him. Remember, they had to they were still in a conflict. They all dropped their armor. So essentially taking their helmets off, which means they are not part of their faction of Mandalorians anymore. Mm-hmm. So they're all exiled, if you want to say that. So what if Din Djarin called them all back and presented the Darksaber, taking his position as a de facto leader?
Right.
And they all come to his aid again.
So then do you think that tomorrow's episode, however you want to look at it, is not going to be a finale in as so much as it's going to be the setup for Mandalorian season 3, and really where we're going to see this big battle kind of take place between the Pikes and is actually going to be in Mandalorian season 3?
Yes, it's going to have to be, because I can't see Cad Bane coming in for one episode.
Yeah, no, I can't either. So
it's going to be
he was too big. He was too big of a part. He was too big of a part of Clone Wars. I mean, for him to just show up for one episode and shoot like the sheriff and it took out his deputy. That's for sure.
He came in the same way Moff Gideon came in the first season of Mandalorian, and so I think Cad Bane is being set up to be a very heavy hitter in the end. So, I mean, it's going to bleed in the next season.
So you don't think perhaps Mando's going to call on Apollo Creed to come out and...
Stop it.
Carl Weathers. No.
Stop it.
I mean, you know, as we know, what's her name has been kicked from the series, unfortunately. And so you would expect that to be one of the characters he would bring in. But no with more that...
Cara Dune, no.
Yeah,
but he's more. I mean, he could definitely probably get some people who are some righteous bounty hunters, I guess you could almost say.
What about that planet from the episode in season 1 where he met Cara Dune and he helped those villagers?
Oh, but they weren't really fighters; they were farmers.
They were peaceful, dude. They were.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, amongst all peaceful clans, there's usually a couple warriors. No,
I don't. But if I don't think he would pull. I don't think he would pull a warrior from their rank. Well, he could, but like pretty much he was trying. He was teaching them from the ground up. Like they had no real skill whatsoever. So I think because they were all pretty much farmers, like I said. So
Yeah. But I'm far fetched on that prediction. I'm not 100% confident into it. That's just was in my brain while I was driving the bus. But on
by
the
all
other,
means, for those of you out there watching, if you have thoughts or predictions, please share them. We this is the
oh
time
yeah,
before while we're talking about this. Let us know what your thoughts are, what you expect to see happen tonight, or even bleeding into Mando season 3.
I want to see Danny. I want to see Boba Fett riding the Rancor. I want to see that happen. He needs to come through on that. And I honestly think the Rancor is going to eat Danny Trejo.
Really? I am a little bit disappointed. Like the nice thing about these last 2 episodes have been just the nostalgia and how great they've been, right? But the thing that I feel like we're missing out on is that Rancor and Danny Trejo and all of that stuff, because it was introduced and then it was like, and then we got reminded of the Rancor. But
he'll be back, and he, so it looks like Boba Fett and the Rancor have some sort of connection due to the fact that he was like, oh, well, if you don't want to help me, and then he kind of reaches up and like tries to make a grab at the guys at the table. So it was like, oh, but
I'm just saying the Hutts gave a Rancor for free.
Yeah, because they recognize that it's not good for business, so they're just gonna peace out. Yeah, no, I like your prediction. I think it's definitely some food for thought. Yeah, I'll be really interested to see where this goes. And we will have to likely bring you back next week for a couple minutes to see how'd you do. I think.
Man, I seriously don't think this conflict is going to be finished in the next episode.
Oh no,
I don't either.
No. And when you said it's probably going to roll over into the other shows and everything, and I was like, oh yeah, that makes total sense. So
now, Brian in the comments, he made a comment about Very Marvel. Are you thinking that this is going to come to some major head where you'll have Mando and Boba and Ahsoka and Luke and Grogu and all these different characters from these different series build up to like an Avengers moment where whether it's Thrawn or whoever?
Absolutely. And out of all predictions I've made, that would be the one that makes me the happiest to see all the heavy hitters going to save Ezra.
Oh, could we see a young Kylo?
That's the part I'm scared about, because
Solo.
obviously they're making the temple, and that's where Luke's going to do the training, and that's where Ben's going to betray Luke and end up killing everyone.
I got to ask you guys a question now that you brought that up, James. Which do you think Grogu took? What decision you think he made?
I honestly, like, there's a part of me like I'm torn, because that cliffhanger of the choice was like, bruh, come on now. But there's a huge part of me that says he's gonna stay, but there's that little piece, because the pod is like that just empty pod that was supposed to be for a droid is on his ship.
That it's just too convenient that's there.
Yeah, it was just kind of.
This is the way I look at it. If Grogu dies in Kylo's
Massacre?
revenge or whatever, when he there's going to be a lot of angry fans about Grogu dying. And if Grogu were to take that chainmail, well, then he could survive the onslaught.
Yeah, that's the one thing. That's the thing I was thinking, and that would make a lot of sense. I mean, because it's not like Ahsoka said she won't train him, but I think if they were to come across each other again, I think she'd be, she'd give some lessons or something, like
if he left. What did he say? You leave, and you forsake the Jedi way. Right?
Yeah. She left.
That's why her sabers are white now. They're not. They aren't green and blue.
Right.
She left, so she has forsaken the Jedi way. Therefore, if Grogu were to bounce out, maybe that's a good idea. That's your prediction, bro. Maybe she can train him.
Yeah. She said, "Oh, because it's like she won't train him but at the same time, I think if he leaves, it'll be kind of one of those kindred spirit type things. I'm gonna help you. I'm not gonna just let you have these powers. I'm not just gonna let you squander them. Like I got to get you trained up at least somewhat."
Yeah.
And
Well, there you have it, guys. From me,
yeah,
that's those are my predictions on Mandalorian, and also the very Marvelish run of the shows that are all going to come together, and it has to be going against Admiral Thrawn. It has to be.
yeah.
All right.
That never really was completed because he escaped at the end of he escaped, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they got, technically they're lost or something, aren't they? Like,
yeah, I guess so. Yeah, because but no, I'm interested to see what happens there. That would be so. That was cool. That was cool, man.
All right, Tyrus. Well, thank you for joining us, and we're going to bring you back next week if you're open to it to see how you did on that.
All right, guys, it's been wonderful, and now it's off to go move a 60-foot piece of machinery.
Well,
All
drive
right, man.
safe and don't run anybody over. Just run some dogs over.
Oh, bro.
You can take out some cats.
All right. So, talking about one great, amazing, fantastic series, moving on, nothing we could talk about for the rest of this episode could come close, but we still have a show to do here. We've got to entertain the people. So I figured one way to entertain some folks would be to talk about Cheaper by the Dozen. This is a new film coming out on Disney Plus on March 18th. With what's his name? Zach Braff from
No, it's Dak Shepard.
Dak Shepard. It's not Zach Braff from Scrubs.
Is that? Oh, you know what? I thought that was Shepard.
No, that's Zach Braff.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you are right. Okay.
Yeah, Zach. Is it because all white guys look the same to you?
Well, like those two white guys look alike to me.
So you understand how I made a mistake earlier. So let's move on.
No.
So
I don't have that much. I don't have that much gray in my beard.
Wow, Tyrus, he's calling you out on the gray in your beard, bro. Might need to go do some
just for men.
Yeah, just for men. So Cheaper by the Dozen. I put the trailer up on our page. It's painful. And what I yes, that is Gabrielle Union. Thank you for checking in, Stephen. I think what I'm most annoyed by this is that this is a remake that just came out in 2003 with Steve Martin, which Hilary Duff, many others,
Clark Kent.
Yeah, Clark Kent. That's right. And according to Tyrus, ladies love the gray beard. So maybe you should get some gray. Maybe you should do some gray in. But this was just done in 2003. Really, not even 20 years later. And I think the other thing is, let's make it so that it's totally inclusive. Let's combine a black family with a white family, and then we'll have the random Indian kid that I guess is going to be a part of it. I mean, come on, really?
Well, it looks like. Let's see. It looks like she had 2 kids. He had 2 kids, or maybe 3. Then it looks like they almost had a couple kids together and then adopted that guy.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, a remake of something that just came out not even 20 years ago, which in and of itself was kind of a play on the Brady Bunch, which in and of itself was a play on the original 1950 Cheaper by the Dozen. That's right, folks. Cheaper by the Dozen, originated in 1950 by 20th Century Fox.
Then
You
they
want to
redid.
talk? You want to talk about recycling?
Hey, man. Here's the question: does it make money? Yes. Are you looking for stuff that you can watch with your family? Yes. Therefore,
I don't know, man.
I'm gonna watch it. You
Are
know
you
why?
really?
Because Gabrielle Union's in it.
Okay, sure. I guess if that's a good enough reason for you.
Is there any other reason that you need? It's Gabrielle Union.
Okay. Well, and we got a poster just this morning for Lightyear.
So
What do you,
again, is this was a real guy that they turned into a toy?
evidently the feeling that I'm getting from the trailers that we've seen and from obviously this image as well is that this is a real person. I assume his name is going to be Buzz Lightyear, and eventually the toys are based off of him. Now, what?
Actually, or is it so? His last name is Lightyear. Buzz is probably just a nickname or something.
Yeah, I mean there was Buzz Aldrin, right? And that Buzz
Yeah.
was not his real first name. So, I don't know. It makes a whole lot of nonsense to me because the fact that Toy Story, the Buzz Lightyear in Toy Story, is based off of a television
Cartoon.
series, yeah, a cartoon on TV, which appears to be based about a guy out in space, but also
Buzz Lightyear of space, or and then they came out with Buzz Lightyear Space Command,
Star
which was Star
Star
Command.
Command, yeah.
Yeah, Star Command.
And so I guess if this is a prequel, just looking at the technology in this image, for example, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Buzz is short for Bartholomew. Thank you, Stephen.
Bartholomew.
I am missing Steven's bad dad jokes. I'm sad that he hasn't done one for us in a while. So maybe he'll break some out. I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about the timeline and everything of this. I think it looks interesting, and I love the Toy Story films and all of that. So I'll
So
probably
somebody was saying like, "What are they trying to do to my childhood?" And I was like, "Bro, like they're not doing anything to your childhood. This character, like, yes, he's plastic in the movies because he's a toy. In this, he's a human, so they're not gonna look, they're gonna look alike, but not, look exactly the same. They're going for some realism with this one. So
yeah. So we've done some talking about films and just announced something we're going to talk about now, the Oscars. So I don't want to go through every category because there's just too many of them, but I want to hit the big ones and kind of see, James, what you've seen and what you haven't, and what you feel like maybe you need to see now based on these nominations. So
yeah,
let's start with Best Picture. So the nominees for Best Picture: Belfast, Coda, Don't Look Up, Drive My Car, Dune, King Richard, Nightmare Alley, The Power of the Dog, and West Side Story. What of these films have you seen?
the only one I've seen is Don't Look Up. King Richard, I just kind of missed. I think it's still on. I might be able to find it on HBO Max. I know that's where it was. Dune.
Mhm.
I went to try and watch it on HBO Max. I can't find it right now. Licorice Pizza, I've heard good things about. Nightmare Alley, I've heard good things about. And I do want to see West Side Story, but yeah. So the only one I've actually seen in this list is Don't Look Up.
So are there? It sounds like you do want to see Dune and King Richard. Are there any other? And you do want to see West Side Story?
Nightmare Alley. Licorice Pizza. It's kind of weird looking, but I might want to check. I do want to check it out. But Nightmare Alley is the one that's kind of on top of my list that I want to see.
Yeah, and why couldn't Miss Piggy talk? Because she had a frog in her throat. Giggity.
Oh boy.
So
Oh,
moving over to the best director roles, we've got Kenneth Branagh for
Belfast,
Belfast,
yeah.
uh, Ryusuke Hamaguchi for Drive My Car, Paul Thomas Anderson for Licorice Pizza, Jane Humping,
Okay.
Power of the Dog, and Steven Spielberg for West Side Story. The only thing I have a comment here is that I do not want Spielberg to win. Otherwise, I don't care.
Yeah.
Any thoughts for you, James?
Nah. Just
Can't really
like
say because you haven't seen any of them, right?
not none of those, yeah.
All right. Best actor. Javier Bardem for Being the Ricardos as Desi Arnaz. I actually wanted to see this series. It's over on Amazon. I'm gonna have to give it a watch, or this movie. Benedict Cumberbatch for The Power of the Dog, Andrew Garfield for Tick Tick Boom, Will Smith for King Richard, and Denzel Washington for The Tragedy of Macbeth. I can say, I saw Tick Tick Boom and I felt that Andrew Garfield was absolutely amazing in that, to the point where I forgot that he was not Jonathan Larson as I'm watching it. So I didn't see any of the other ones, but I will. I definitely am going to watch Being the Ricardos, and I'll likely watch King Richard. I don't think I have any interest in the other two.
I think Tragedy of Macbeth, that's on Apple TV, isn't it?
No clue.
I think it is, and that's the only reason I don't understand. I mean, I guess stuff was going to start being nominated that way because I mean, Tick Tick Boom was Netflix, so. But yeah,
Moving over to the best actress, we've got Jessica Chastain for The Eyes of Tammy Faye, Olivia Colman for The Lost Daughter, Penelope Cruz, Parallel Mothers, Nicole Kidman, Being the Ricardos, and Kristen Stewart for Spencer.
yuck. I don't even
Again,
understand how she got nominated. That chick is, I find her absolutely awful.
yeah, I don't. I mean, she played Diana, and I heard it was very well portrayed. I don't know. I haven't watched it. I did actually want to see that one just to see if it's as good as I've been hearing. And I want to see Being the Ricardos,
Yeah,
to see Nicole Kidman as Lucille Ball. The other three, I'd be somewhat interested in seeing Eyes of Tammy Faye.
I've
Just
heard
because,
that was actually very well done.
yeah, and it's an interesting story, the story of Tammy Faye Baker and everything.
Yeah.
So, moving on, we're just going to do a couple more categories. So, best supporting actor, Syrian Hins for Belfast, Troy Kotsur for Coda, Jesse Plemons for The Power of the Dog, J.K. Simmons Being the Ricardos, and Cody Smith McPhee, The Power of the Dog.
I like J.K. Simmons getting some recognition out there.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't love J.K. Simmons. I don't know. Nothing here interests me enough. Again, I'm gonna watch Being the Ricardo, so I'll see that one, but none of the other ones interest me enough. Best supporting actress: Jessie Buckley, The Lost Daughter; Ariana DeBois for West Side Story; Judi Dench for Belfast; Kirsten Dunst for Power of the Dog; and Jone Elise for King Richard.
Anjune.
And I don't need to see these films to say Dame Judi Dench should win regardless.
The one thing I always like is the animated, since they started making that its own thing this year. We got Encanto, we have Flea, which I don't know that one. I'd have to try and see where that's at. Luca, we have Mitchells versus Machines, the Mitchells versus the Machines, and then Raya and the Last Dragon.
So we've got 3 Walt Disney Corporation films.
Yes, so 2 Disney, 1 Disney Pixar. Actually, the Mitchells versus the Machines, that was on Netflix. That was actually, it was decent. It wasn't like, I don't know. I guess there wasn't a whole lot that they could have chose from, but I don't know. Flea is something I don't know of. If anybody knows what that is, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, no clue. Some comments we've got. We Don't Talk About Bruno should have been nominated instead of Dos Orgoritas. I'm a little bummed. Encanto was such an amazing movie. Haven't watched it yet. I will be watching
Yeah,
it
actually,
soon.
the "Don't Talk About Bruno" is an amazing song for that, like an entire cast, for an entire cast song. That's definitely a great one.
Steven's not a fan of Nicole Kidman.
Well, I've liked her ever since Far and Away. So
And Steven says Encanto will win, but I'm rooting for Luca. I liked Luca a lot. I did see that one. I thought it was very enjoyable.
oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Disney's going to win this one, one way or the other. So
Yeah, I mean the only way if I like Flea is gonna have to do some major blowing away because like I said I've never even heard of it. So
maybe it's a cartoon based on Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers.
it's not.
Anyone?
It's not
No?
Flea as it looks like basically Run as in it's FLEE. So
Okay. Well, moving over to our next topic, the Super Bowl is this Sunday. Really quickly, did you happen to see the Pro Bowl at all?
no, I watched the skills challenge. That's pretty much all I care about. The
Okay.
Pro Bowl, from what I hear, was I mean they might as well start making a flag football game as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I didn't catch any of it. When they were doing, replays of some of the plays, I was just like, I don't care. But this Sunday is the Super Bowl where the Los Angeles Rams are going to be hosting the Cincinnati Bengals. And we made our predictions last week of who we were picking. I went with the Rams. You went with the Bengals.
Yep.
We both went with the under on points. Are you standing by? It's been a week. You've had some time to think about it. There haven't been any injury reports that I'm aware of. Are you standing by your pick?
Yep.
Okay. I am as well. So the spread has actually increased to where the Rams are now giving up 4.5 points instead of 3.5 points. So that bodes well for me. But what I wanted to do is spend a couple minutes and take a look at some prop bets that I think are interesting, and
These are always fun.
we will go ahead and lock them in, and we'll go back and look at these next week to see how we did. So, James, first and foremost, is the coin toss going to be a heads or tails?
See, I'm gonna say heads.
Okay, I'm going with heads as well. Coin toss on the outcome. Who's going to win the coin flip?
So is it actually gonna be the Bengals as visiting team?
I would think they would actually home team because they have the better record.
Oh. Well, because so wait, who's gonna win the coin toss? It's not like it's like that's what I'm saying. Like I don't know. Like
It doesn't matter who calls it. Who's going to win the coin toss?
oh, I think the visitors will win.
Okay. Okay.
So I think whoever is calling the coin toss will win.
Okay.
I don't know who's home and who's away in this game because
I'm going to go with who's not calling, just so we have a little bit of a difference there. The outcome of the opening kickoff. What do you think is going to be? Is it going to be touchback? Is it going to be
touchback.
Okay. I agree. I'm going to go with a touchback. Who's going to score the first touchdown?
I think the Rams will. Like, is it a person or are they saying like team wise?
First team. Who's going to score?
I think the Rams will score first.
First touchdown, not field goal.
Yeah, I think the first touchdown. I think the Rams will get first touchdown.
What do you think will be the first scoring play? Will it be a touchback, a field goal, a touchdown?
Say what?
The first scoring play. Will it be a touchdown?
You said touchback. I was like, what?
Or yeah, touchback.
How is it a touchback for scoring?
Or what is it when they get the offense pushed all the way into their own end zone?
Safety?
Oh, yeah, there we go. Safety. Is it going to be a safety? Sorry.
No, I was like, no, I think it'll. I think the first score will actually be a field goal.
Okay. And I'm going to go with a touchdown. And what do you think the score will be at halftime?
Uh, wait, is there like a over under on this, or is it
Nope, just purely what do you think the score is going to be at halftime?
At
What,
halftime?
how many points will the Rams have?
I think the Rams will have. I'm gonna say 14-10.
Okay, and the Bengals? Okay, so you're going to see the Rams up. So you're seeing a second half come from behind victory for the Bengals, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to go with the Rams at 17 and the Bengals at 7. Who's going to be the last team to score a touchdown?
As in like the last touchdown, or
Nope. Yeah, the last touchdown of the game. There could be field goals after that. There could be safeties after that. But who's going to score the last touchdown?
Bengals?
Okay. I'm going with Rams. What will be the method of victory? So, what will be the final score that wins the game? Meaning, will it be a field goal, a safety, or a touchdown that puts the team in front that ends up winning?
Field goal.
Okay.
Only fitting the way these games ended.
I'm going with touchdown. Will the game go into overtime?
We can hope. That'd be awesome. Sure, why not? Yeah.
Okay. And I'm saying no. I don't think it's going to go into overtime. What color of Gatorade will the Gatorade bath be?
Oh, if it's I'm gonna go with red. I'm gonna go with fruit punch.
Okay. I'm going with blue.
I don't think I've ever seen blue. Actually, you know what? Actually, stop. Let me change that. I'm gonna change yellow.
Okay.
Lemon lime.
What will be the winning margin? So how many points will there be between the winners and the losers?
I'm gonna say I think it's gonna end up being 3.
Okay, I'm saying 6. What position will win the Super Bowl MVP?
I mean, in this case, well, not totally, because who will win? I'm gonna go. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna go with quarterback.
And who will win the Super Bowl? I'm going with wide receiver. And who will win the Super Bowl MVP?
Joe Burrow.
Okay, and I'm going with wide receiver and Kupp.
Cooper Kupp's a good call, but
so
Joe Burrow, guys, too young. That team is too young to even realize they're not even supposed to be there right now. But
let's see. So some folks, some of their call outs. Steven says tails never fails. Rams are the home team. Tyrus is saying, I'm guessing he was going with the first scoring play will be a safety, or maybe he was just correcting me. I'm not sure. I wasn't paying attention to when that happened. Steven's saying 17-14 Rams at the half.
That was halftime, yeah.
Tyrus is saying 10-3 at halftime with the Rams up. And Steven is saying an MVP will be a wide receiver. So we'll come back. We'll take a look at our results next week, see how we did. I feel pretty confident in a lot of my choices, including who's going to win. But, you never know what's going to happen.
Never know.
Speaking of football, we did get finally the announcement of the Washington football team and what they were going to be going with for a name. And I'm very happy to announce they are the Washington Commanders.
Oh man, that would be too good. That would be that would be awesome if that was really the helmet.
For those of you listening right now, I've thrown up a logo that is not the official logo of the Washington Commanders.
Cobra!
It is the Washington Cobra Commanders logo, which you can find up on our Facebook page. I found this logo and I was like, this is awesome.
I
I
I
wish.
I
I
like it.
wish.
That would
Yeah.
be awesome. I mean, making Washington the villains of football would be.
Yeah, and actually before we came on the air, we were talking with Tyrus, and he brought up a good one. James, you want to share that?
Oh, apparently, there was something called they were thinking about the Sentinels, so it would have been the Washington Sentinels, which was actually the team in the replacements. So, so I that would have been funny, but because we were actually thinking, Mark was thinking when he said Sentinels, it'd have been the Marvel Sentinels from the comics, X-Men comics,
Hmm.
but no, yes, the Washington Sentinels was the name of the team that Falco played for in the replacements.
Yeah. So that could have been fun. Unfortunately, they went with the Cobra Commanders. So, um, as we do with our show, we go into the rapid fire round. Next up, we've got the Build a Bear After Dark.
Oh yeah, you
Yeah,
want to make
I
something furry?
you want to play
Yeah,
with my little teddy?
all day. Yeah, so I don't know what this is. I was hoping that the art of like this was just a picture that you found.
So this is the Build a Bear Company is doing an adult based series of bearers, if you will. And I did find some imagery of what they're going with. And it's nothing. It's not like, one of them's a lion that kind of has a heart shaped head, and he's wearing a little like satin bathrobe. Um, and another one is like a bunny wearing a shirt that says "Ro- Rose versus Roses," and they're holding a glass of wine and a bottle of wine.
Okay, I mean,
Um,
I don't know, but I mean, Build a Bear is cool. I mean, I don't know. I guess they're trying to. They need the adults of those kids to come back and get their own animals. I guess get their own.
yes, and Stephen would like to know. James likes to play with furries. What? Um,
Oh yeah. No, I mean it's just like I okay. I mean, do what you gotta do. Make that money.
Care Bear cousin, all grown up. Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
Care Bear cousins were legitimate.
Talking about one weird thing to another, we've got this one.
Bruh. I heard about this
Hold on.
and
We got to say
oh
what it is first
oh
because not
yeah,
everybody's
sorry.
watching. This is a
Right.
podcast after all. So, what we have up on the screen is some imagery from an upcoming comic book release by DC called The Jurassic League, which is a play on Justice League, of course. James, tell the folks what we're seeing in this image.
So apparently Superman is going to be a brontosaurus. Uh Batman will be played by a T-Rex with which I don't understand. It's already a T-Rex. And then Wonder Woman is played by a very scary looking Tyrannosaurus,
Triceratops.
Triceratops, which why? What is why? This like come on, DC. Like I know you're digging bottom barrel, but bruh, like no. This is no.
Yeah, I evidently this is a limited series. Looks like it's going to be six issues.
It shouldn't even
Um,
be one. Honestly, this should never even been like, "Oh, let's make this." No, it looks it's wrong. It's just there's all sorts of wrongness about it.
And Tyrus does call out that it's a bit disturbing that Superman has no clothes on, just a cape. Yeah, I would tend to agree there. It's I don't know.
I love how his neck got absorbed into the rest of his body.
Yeah, I don't I don't even know why you heard about this. I mean, I know you told me the story, but it's crazy to me that this exists. And I'm not gonna lie, I lightweight want to know what the story arc is. Like, is it going to explain that somehow these characters Lex Luthor somehow created a machine and transported them back in time and injected them with
No,
dino
no,
DNA? Or
no. So apparently, it's pretty much like the same. It's the same storyline as some of these characters have in the comics. Like Superman is from another planet that crash and it from another planet and crashes on Earth. And he's a dinosaur. Like the planet was dinosaurs. Apparently, like the Batman. Apparently, like his parents were killed. And then like Wonder Woman. I don't even remember really what Wonder Woman is, but it's like almost the same storyline, but just with dinosaurs. And I'm like, bro, what? Why?
well,
Why?
I agree 100% with Steven. DC is as extinct as the dinosaurs in this comic.
Like, I just don't like. Every time I think DC is trying to do something to make themselves come back, they do something stupid like this.
Yeah. I wanted to share a really quick story. So as I mentioned earlier, I'm involved with this upcoming show, Murphy's Inc., and was a part of the auditions over the weekend. And one of the things we were asking the people that auditioned was, "How did you hear about the auditions?" And it was pretty cool because this one woman, she auditioned from Texas, and she was telling us that her father told her about the auditions and was like, "Oh, well, how did your father hear about it?" "Oh, well, he's an actor and he's done voiceover work." And so naturally we assumed that he must have heard about it from one of maybe the Facebook pages where we looked up voice actors and posted the audition call there and stuff like that. And she was like, "No, no, actually he heard about it from on Facebook from some podcast page called Fat and Black Connection." And I about lost my mind. It blew me away. It was that
Yes,
yeah, that was awesome.
we getting out there,
Well, especially so that's the thing, right? He's not in Texas. She's in Texas and he's in Minnesota. So
Minnesota.
I have no idea who the person is. I know her name. I don't know his name, but if you're listening, if you're watching, thank you for calling us out. We appreciate it. Please continue
Yeah,
to share the show with your friends and everyone, because we're trying to make this thing happen and really get out there. And we appreciate all of you that are here right now, watching and enjoying. But yeah, that was pretty cool.
yeah.
Um,
Hey, you know
so
what? There is something that I forgot to do last week because of the whole fiasco with my method of broadcast. So, but there was a couple people that told me they'd listen to the show if I gave them a shout out. So I'm gonna do that real quick. It's Tori Carter, Pete and Tracy Crofton, Jessica and John Dissot, and Janelle Jelsey. I want to make sure I threw you guys out there this week. That was my bad. I meant to do it last week, but with everything that happened, so I met those guys out one at a thing. The Spasmatics are a group. They dress like nerds and everything else, and so they have they do 80s music over at the South Point. So I ran into these guys and we just kind of started talking, and I told them about the podcast, and so they said, "We'll check it out if you give us a shout out." And I was like, "All right, cool, I'll give you a shout out." I meant to do it last week, but I want to make sure I get that done this week.
they'll listen if you give them a shout out.
Hey,
Um,
man.
well, the only way for them to know if you give a shout out is to listen, I suppose.
Yeah. So
Stephen points out that James's hotspot was a cold spot last week. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. So the last thing I wanted to bring up was something I posted about early last week that somebody else posted this and I saw it and I was like, oh yeah, I think this is interesting. And there have been to date, not including the actual Avengers films, there have been 4 trilogies in the Marvel Cinematic Universe: Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, and Spider-Man. And I just wanted to kind of, I already put up on the page, how I ranked them. But James, I wanted to get your rankings on these series, not the individual films. How would you rank these trilogies?
I think I'm pretty much in line with you. I believe I think you did Spider-Man, Captain America, Iron Man, Thor. I pretty much agree with those. I like In all honesty, I really do. I mean, I think the only thing in Thor, the Dark World, I think the only thing that came out of that was the ether, which gave us the red crystal, the red um
Infinity Stone.
Infinity Stone. That's about it. Otherwise, in all honesty, luckily Ragnarok really made up for the Dark World. Um,
I think Ragnarok made up for 1 and 2, to be honest.
uh,
I think I think Thor is up to
Thor's
Ragnarok was the weakest of all of these characters.
Thor, yeah, I mean, like, yeah, no, I agree with, yeah, I pretty much agree with you on that. But I think, like, I liked the first Thor film. It was very talky, but then I found out it was directed by Kenneth Branagh, and that totally made sense why it was so talky. Um, he's a classically trained actor. He's remade a lot of the Shakespeare movies, the Shakespeare plays into film, and has starred in and directed. So I understood when I saw he directed that, I was like, that's why it was really talky. But yeah, no, Spider-Man as like Homecoming, Far From Home, and No Way Home, probably the best. I would almost dare to say some of the best three movies in the cinematic universe at this point in time.
Yeah, I would agree that all three of those films rank extremely high, rivaling Infinity War and Endgame
Right.
to some extent.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So I mean, the first Iron Man set up everything, started getting the ball rolling. Iron Man 2 was okay. 3, I was disappointed by. I think we saw that together, didn't we?
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, 3 was fairly disappointing. Um, Captain America, the first Avenger, enjoyed. Winter Soldier definitely
Great.
changed the game. I mean, we saw that ripple effect not only in the MCU, but that transferred over to Agents of Shield, while they were still actually in the MCU, but that kind of broke off later. We won't even talk about that. And then Civil War. Whew, you want to talk about team against team. Now, the only thing is, there was people that were like, this isn't the real Civil War. Yeah, but that was also like spanned over a number of comics, and it brought pretty much every team in Marvel up against each other. That would almost been pretty much impossible. Well, I mean, it could have been done, but it would have been really, really hard to do in one film and bring them together, to break them apart, to have them come back together later. So
Now, I
uh,
could see them going back, a decade from now or even more, once we have Fantastic Four introduced, once we have the mutants introduced, and
yeah,
do Civil War 2,
yeah, no,
where
I could see that happening, where something else goes down with, this was the Sokovia Accords. So I mean, it could definitely be what started the Civil War in the comic books, which is the Mutant Registration Act,
Mhm.
which
Well,
kind
it
of
wasn't just mutant registration.
superhero
Uh,
registration
yeah, pretty much anyone that had powers or unique abilities, things like that.
had to register.
Hmm.
Oh, okay. See, I thought it was the Mutant Registration Act. I didn't really like. I know the comic. I want to go back. I need to go back and read them all. The one thing, what I would like to see them do, and I don't. This would have to be maybe a cartoon series, something later. The one that they did a number of years ago was the novel where it was basically back. Red Skull has the United States. He helped Germany win World War II, and it's kind of it's like the 40s in America, and it's like, but the X-Men and all the characters from Marvel, but their suits they're not like super nice suits. They're kind of old school. Like Cyclops has just like an eye patch that he, there was a comic like that. I can't remember exactly what the name of it was. If anybody knows, that'd be great. But I actually I would like to see that made into something. That'd be kind of cool. I'd like to see that maybe.
Yeah. So, you got anything else you want to call out or chat about before we wrap this thing up?
No, man. I think the only other thing, like the Winter Olympics is going on right now.
Do you care?
I've watched some. I've watched. I watched some curling the other night.
I've watched a total of 0 minutes so far.
Yeah, I was watching moguls, the women's final, mogul finals. This just before we started the show. And so yeah, I mean, I like the I like the Olympics. Of course, like the Winter Olympics is not as big as the Summer Olympics, but I still like watching. Right now, The Rock is leading with 10 medals. So I mean, if anybody cares, but right now,
Russia,
you know,
ROC.
the Russian Olympic Committee, yeah.
Speaking of Russia, hopefully we'll still be here next week to do a show, because with everything going on with Russia and Ukraine.
Yikes. Yeah. Yikes.
Well, with that, I don't got much else to say except for the fact that it's been real and it's been fun, but it certainly has not been real fun.
What the heck was that?
I don't know. Something just blew up. It's Russia.
Hey, Tyrus, thanks for joining us today, man. We appreciate it. We'll have to bring you on next week to go through that. And as usual, thank you guys for checking in, leaving your comments. Again, if you listen to it later, make sure you leave us a comment. And you can leave us comments pretty much anywhere. Give us a thumbs up on subscribe and click the bell for notifications on YouTube. Other than that, you guys have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday.